All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So a huge day of practice at the New York Jets facility, right? Another training camp practice officially in the books. Man, there's so many positives, so many just great takeaways that you can pull from this practice. There was a bunch of guys that had standout performances, and there's really just a ton of great news to go around, right? But before we dive into the practice, I did want to say that the merch store is live. Finally, it's live. I've been working on it for quite some time, but yeah, if you guys want to check that out, awesome. If not, totally cool. But the link is listed down below in the description box. I've had a really fun time putting together all these different designs and everything like that, ordering samples and stuff. So yeah, really pumped up about that. But speaking of merch, the Jets actually teased, along with the Patriots, Dolphins, Bills, Cardinals, Seahawks, Rams, and 49ers, new jerseys, right? It's like this new rivalries, quote unquote rivalries edition. It looks like it has something to do with the Gotham City kind of theme. Now, I remember when the Jets actually hired Adam Gase, they were wearing these hoodies. It said Gotham City Football Crew, Gotham City Football Team. Awesome designs. I was a big fan of it, but they never like released them on their site, or maybe they did and it just went over my head. But I spent a lot of time searching for, at least one shirt, one hoodie. Could never find it. So hopefully they bring that style or that that kind of theme back for a week or two, and at least get some stuff up onto the team store, because I would definitely like to pick something up. But supposedly it's going to be Jets Dolphins. The Jets are going to be unveiling this new uniform, so that should be pretty cool. But shifting into some injury updates, right? Some player injury updates. We got some sick news, right? First of all, I mean, news came out like 3-4-ish hours ago. It came out early in the morning. I want to say like 6:30, somewhere in that range. Jermaine Johnson posted on Twitter that he's officially cleared from the Achilles injury. He kind of broke the news himself, which was really cool. Now, as far as the Jets, dressing him, putting him out there, and he's just, 100% good to go, I don't know. It still seems like the Jets want to take their time with it, and also Jermaine wants to take his time with it. They don't want to rush the process. They don't want to potentially re-injure something, or something else goes wrong or anything like that. It seems like there is a calculated, a detailed, in my opinion, a smart approach to this whole thing. This injury was no joke. The timetable to return is no joke. The rehab is no joke. You don't want to jump the gun here, especially to someone who's going to be a starting pass rusher to this football team. So I completely understand it from the Jets side. When Jermaine feels 100% comfortable, that's when I want to see him out there. Another bit of injury news. I'm sitting there watching the New York Jets live stream over on their YouTube channel, right? Wayne Corbett, Quincy Enunwa, Eric Allen, they're kind of diving into different storylines and whatnot during like the stretching period early on. I see Justin Fields in uniform jogging around. I mean, that in and of itself is a huge win here. I mean, the way it was framed yesterday was, hey, I mean, this guy could miss a month, he could miss multiple preseason games, and to be fair, it's not to say that he's going to be 100% tomorrow, and he's we should expect him by Sunday. Anything could happen, right? I definitely want the Jets to have the same approach, just like Johnson here, Jermaine Johnson. Don't rush this guy back. There's really no point to do it. If it takes a couple extra days, it takes a couple extra days. I mean, obviously, ideally, you want your starting quarterback out on the practice field, but the last thing you want for a mobile quarterback, one of the best running quarterbacks in football, to be dealing with a foot injury is to try to shortcut it, get him on the field, and all of a sudden, again, the injury could be worse, or he could re-injure something else, trying to play through pain, or you just don't want to get into any of those situations. But based off of just the simple footage of Justin Fields actually, look, he didn't have to dress. He could have just stood on the sidelines. He could have just done anything other than this. But he was out there walking around, not limping, jogging at one point, and also did the team stretches as well. So great sign. That leads me to, again, anything could happen. I'm not a doctor here, but that leads me to believe that, hey, you know what? It's not as bad as how it was framed yesterday. And also Aaron Glenn kind of touched on that in the media, just kind of saying it was not necessarily overblown, but it was kind of this huge storm that didn't make any sense. But, from a fan's perspective, if you're a Buffalo Bills fan and you hear Josh Allen gets carted off the field, or if you're a Ravens fan, you hear Lamar Jackson gets carted off the field, there's especially on this, second, third day of training camp here, there's obviously going to be fan fear. Like, hey, like, this is the starting quarterback of our football team and he's being carted off the practice field. Like, what's going on here? Then you throw on top of it that it's the Jets that we're talking about here, a team that has not really dealt with injuries all that well, a team that just feels snake bitten to a certain degree, whether you want to talk about the Aaron Rodgers Achilles, whether you want to talk about the Mark Sanchez injury years and years ago, where Geno Smith was kind of thrusted into action back when Rex Ryan was the coach. We've seen these like catastrophic injuries pop up out of nowhere. Mekhi Becton dealing with stuff. AVT had the Achilles. I mean, we're just talking about Jermaine Johnson before dealing with the Achilles. There's been kind of these complaints from players on other teams about the turf at MetLife Stadium. So the injuries, like, I think it's totally fair for fans to have a level of concern, especially with how things were worded when news broke out initially. So anyway, good stuff on the injury front. As far as the practice is concerned, how did Tyrod Taylor perform? Supposedly really good. And of course, shout out to all the reporters that were there. By the way, shout out to all the fans that were able to make it to today's practice as well. I haven't been to a Jets training camp practice. I would love to go. I also know that tickets are kind of hard to come across, but yeah, Nick Faria, Zach Rosenblatt, Rich Cimini, the whole Jet beat reporter crew, they're there, they're giving their thoughts, they're documenting what's happening. According to these reporters, according to multiple reporters here, Tyrod Taylor, impressive day. There's something about Tyrod Taylor's presence within this Jets team that, just as a fan, I definitely can breathe a sigh of relief. When you think about Jets backups before in the past, you just never really had that, well, at least for me, that full-on belief outside of Mike White, right? I mean, Zach Wilson to Aaron Rodgers, Tim Boyle to Zach Wilson. It's been a long time to where the Jets have felt good about their starter, and they've also felt really good about their backup. And Tyrod is one of those guys. Fantastic leader, been around so many different offenses, seen so many different defenses, regarded as such a great teammate and a great leader as well. It's just someone that you want in your locker room. And one of my favorite, it sounds crazy, but one of my favorite deals that Joe Douglas made in his entirety of his 6-year career was signing Tyrod Taylor to a 2-year deal. We all knew that Aaron Rodgers was up there in age. We knew that addressing backup quarterback was very, very important, and they were able to sign Tyrod to that 2-year deal. I mean, it would have been kind of a nightmare situation to to not bring Tyrod back or to initially sign him to a 1-year deal. He's out on another team, and then you get that Justin Fields news yesterday, and then we're looking at Brady Cook, Adrian Martinez, and potentially, the Kirk Cousins rumors start flying in. Could we pick up Ryan Tannehill off the couch, right? Just having Tyrod in the building, able to run and manage this offense, alleviates all those different questions. So a great day for Tyrod, being able to spread the football around. It seems right now, if you want to lump mandatory minicamp so far through training camp and of course voluntary OTAs, it seems like Tyrod has a very good grasp of this offense and isn't really like, as far as like a learning curve and whatnot is concerned, it's just not really there. Like he's pretty comfortable making this offense work. Pretty comfortable making this offense efficient. Now, this was also a practice where the young guys, we had tons of young guys step up. Armand Membou had a really good day. According to Nick Faria, the battle between him and Will McDonald was really impressive. Mason Taylor coming onto the scene, catching a touchdown, which is really, really cool. Really good to hear. Supposedly, he had a fantastic day overall. Malachi Corley had a touchdown. Both Braylon Allen and Azareye'h Thomas continue to stand out. And to hear both of them are looking the part so far, they're getting better, they're turning heads, is flat out awesome. And also, I did want to shout out my guy Andre Cisco coming in at free safety. 2 picks today, plus a pass breakup. The free safety position last season, it was just all over the place, right? The angles being taken to the football, the tackling in open space. You just never really felt like we had that true center fielder back there, that rangy guy with speed, that rangy guy with twitch, left, right. You can move up into the box, right, on run support. He can fly backwards if maybe there is someone biting on a pump fake, and he can just scream backwards and be able to kind of cover up in like mop up duty. And it was my favorite free agent signing this offseason. I didn't want the Jets to overlook the safety position. I felt like with the previous regime, year after year, it was just kind of like, yeah, safety, it's not all that important in this style of defense. But in the Aaron Glenn style of defense, you gotta have, you just simply have to have a safety in the backfield that you feel really good about. And then you also pair that with Glenn and Steve Wilkes' ability to develop these guys. I mean, just look at all these great safeties that both coaches have been a part of. But the development is on full display. Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, Marcus, all these different guys throughout the years. So I'm expecting big things for Andre Sisco. I know the contract wasn't this, 4-year, $50 million type of deal or anything like that. It was just a cheap 1 year, but this is someone who I can definitely see signing an extension if all goes well, right? Hometown kid. He's still young. He's kind of entering the prime of his career now. Love Andre Sisco, and I also love his ability, his skill set in this style of defense. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys, and as always, go Jets.